All right, guys, well, I'm back today with the infamous orange crossbar lock knife featuring D2 steel from Ozark Trail, sold by Walmart. This knife comes in at $10, and it's a game changer for grab-and-go pickup $10 pocket knives. And what do I mean by that? The internet is full of pocket knives you can find on sale or with a deal or different specs and features, but that's going to require shipping. To just go into a store and grab a pocket knife of this quality for this price is almost unheard of, and Walmart is one of those stores that is around every corner, so something that everybody can go and pick up, grab, and buy. We're going to be talking about this knife independently, its specs and features, how it feels in a full overview in this video, but we're also going to be comparing it with other Ozark Trail knives that have just been released, as well as knives that are very similar in specs and features, but from some higher end companies, as well as knives that come in at the same price point available on Amazon, to really give you a full understanding of the brand new orange crossbar lock knife. Now, this has been called a game changer. This has been called an industry changer by a lot of different YouTube channels. I'm going to take a step back, look at this independently, and give you guys my thoughts and opinions on this brand new Ozark Trail knife. One of the first things I want to mention about this knife is when you pick it up, the action is incredibly smooth, and the crossbar spring tension is absolutely perfect for this particular knife. Now, this one features a D2 steel blade, and there's not much information about the hardness of the blade. Again, we are talking about a prepackaged Ozark Trail mass-produced Walmart knife. Heat treat is going to be important on D2 steel. We will see how it holds up in the future. Now, I actually purchased this one online because I couldn't find it in my local stores, and I purchased 3 as well as another Ozark Trail knife because you got free shipping on orders over $35. So I thought that was pretty convenient that you could grab a couple. Now, honestly, 1 or 2 of these would be good enough for my collection, but since I'm reviewing it, I want to do a long-term test and evaluation, so I grabbed a couple extra to beat up and test down on the land and when I'm hiking and when I'm in the woods. So right off the bat, it's a very nice setup. It's got an injected handle. It appears to be FRN. It just could be, they don't give you a ton of information about the handle, but it feels fairly slick. It feels like an FRN handle that you would find on this CJRB. But overall, it's a fairly solid knife with decent build quality, what you would expect out of a $10 or $15 knife. When I pulled it out of the box, you do get a decent amount of blade play. Now, I did tighten up one of these guys, and the blade play sort of went away. I mean, this is a fairly solid lockup when you tighten that pivot point. One thing I noticed, though, is if you over-tighten that pivot point, you will lock up that action. You will lock up the crossbar lock. So it's a fine balance between tightening up that pivot point as well as removing that blade play. But overall, not that big of a deal when it comes to build quality. I mean, it's pretty darn good. It's got a lanyard hole in the back and a fairly deep carry pocket clip, but it's put below this screw in the back that holds everything together right here, so you're not going to get a super deep carry, but again, pretty darn awesome. It's not reversible, so left-handed carry is going to be difficult with something like this because that blade could potentially pop open in your pocket. So that's kind of a knock on something like that. We will be discussing other alternatives. Granted, they're going to be 3 times the price that feature a lot of these similar materials, but with reversible pocket clips. So if that's a necessity, that may be a deal breaker for you, or you might just have to switch what pocket you carry while you pick one of these up. The other thing I want to mention is overall, the jimping on the back is pretty good. The feel of the knife is pretty good, but you do have a little bit of a slick feel right here, so it's not going to be the greatest. Like your thumb wants to slide up. The handle itself is a touch bit slippery if you are your hands are wet or something like that. So there are room for improvement on this knife. Like, I don't think this is overthrowing $20 and $30 knives out there with G10 and D2 steel, but I do think it's killing it, absolutely killing it in this $10 knife price. Now, I do want to show you guys the other Ozark Trail knife that I recently bought. This one just features an injected handle, stainless steel. It doesn't give you the type of steel. It's a coated blade, tip down carry, liner lock design, really good build quality. Again, the lockup is fairly solid once you tighten the pivot point, but this quality of this knife is impeccable. Along with this one, for the price point. This one comes in around $6 or $7. And that's cool because you get a few different options right here. Now, I'm partial to the Crossbar Lock D2 steel blade, but for me, if I was actually going to carry one on a daily basis, since I carry in my left-hand pocket, the tip-down carry would be a little bit better. I'd love to see Ozark Trail expand their lineup of these material selection with the D2 steel into their other blades, push the price up to $10 or $11, and man, you would have an entire budget lineup that would be killing it. Now let's talk about kind of like the elephant in the room. A lot of guys are saying, well, why would you buy a $20 or $30 knife when these knives are available for $10? And let's take a little bit deeper look into that, starting with the CJRB. Now, this guy right here is a really nice knife. Now, this one features the AR, and I'm going to try to zoom that in for you, the RP M9 steel with the FRN handle, completely reversible pocket clip, and button action. And the action on this knife is definitely smoother. It feels better. It feels smoother. You're just getting a better built knife. The lockup on this guy was rock solid out of the box. The jimping on the back is going to be a little bit better. The thumb studs work out well, and the action is super smooth. So you are getting a better knife, but this one comes in at $30. So there's definitely a price difference between the two. Now, obviously, these are two different style knives, but they're using very similar materials. But again, you are getting better build quality. And if you're a knife guy like me, you're going to run out and buy this, but you're also going to run out and buy a ton of other knives. Let's not fool ourselves. Nobody's out there buying one knife. Now, where this one really shines is I heard another YouTube reviewer say this, and I thought it was a great idea as a travel knife, but a when you get there travel knife. So if you are traveling on a plane or somewhere where we can't necessarily bring a pocket knife on board, when you land at your destination, it's super easy to run to Walmart and pick one of these up and have a $10 budget beater while you're on your trip so you're not pocket knifeless, because I hate being pocket knifeless. And then when you're done, you pass it off to somebody and you're out $10, but you've had a pocket knife the whole time. And you're passing on a really good pocket knife. You can't do that with something like this if you don't want to spend $30 and ditch it. And honestly, a lot of times, it's hard to get one of these if you're going to try to find them on Amazon or something like that. So there's definitely benefits to having an in-store option. Now, moving along, I do want to compare this to another $10 knife on Amazon. This is a Flissa branded knife. Now, this Flissa branded knife is going to be featuring a little bit better build quality. When you pick this knife up, rock solid out of the box, super smooth action, G10 handles, but this steel on this guy is 5CR15 steel, so a subpar steel to D2, but overall just a decent build, sharp out of the box, liner lock design. Again, a different style knife, not a crossbar lock, so not a direct comparison, but a direct comparison in pricing. And when you pick up these knives, and I asked you which would be the more expensive knife, just by feel, not telling you the specs and features of the blade steel, 9 times out of 10, you're going to say this Flissa just because of the build quality, the weight, the feel, the tip-down carry, pocket clip. I mean, the clip feels a little bit more robust. It doesn't go side to side like this guy right here. So you do, though, get the value in the D2 steel blade, and it really all hinges on the quality of that D2 steel and the heat treat, but there are other really good $10 knife options out there, and in fact, this has inspired me to do a $10 EDC knife video, so subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to show you guys a ton of different $10 EDC knives. Now, you may say, hey, what about a crossbar lock? Well, I run the company 704 Gear, and we sell knives, and this is one of our most popular models, the Hornet. These generally sell for $29.99 with free Amazon Prime shipping, and we have a crossbar lock, completely reversible pocket clip for left and right-handed carry, lanyard spot in the back, coated D2 steel blade for corrosion resistance, and black and 10 G10 handles. The action is smooth, the lockup is rock solid, good blade centering on this guy. Show you guys this. Good blade centering on this guy as well. So not knocking the orange knife on that one. But we actually have these on sale for about $25 and change with free Prime shipping. Now, for me as a left-handed carry, that's why I included left-handed carry on all of our knives, or at least like 9 out of 10 of our knives have left-handed carry options. The D2 and on this guy, Going to show you guys the back profile. You're going to get better jimping on a knife like this. It's not quite as rounded. You're not going to get as much as a fine point, a taper on the end. I mean, you're going to get a fine point with the taper, but what I'm saying is you're going to get a thicker tang across the board for heavier use on something like this. And it's not just my knife. There's a lot of other knives that feature D2 steel that are going to be just more solid in general, like this Sitivine with micarta for 30 bucks. But I think the point is, you're not going to overthrow the $20 or the $25, $30 knives. You may start overthrowing those, some of the $15 and $20 knives with the quality of the Ozark Trail. But I did want to give you guys a little bit of perspective, a little bit of understanding about this new Ozark Trail knife. I've really fallen in love with it. I definitely think it's a game changer for the under $15 knife category. It's a great fidget knife. It's a great knife to buy. And if you see it, I highly recommend grabbing one just to be part of it. You know, there's something about finding a deal, finding a value to where you can get an insane value in a pocket knife for this money without breaking the bank. Having a couple of beater knives, if you're building out prepping kits, bug out bag kits, car kits, man, stock them up with these. It's a solid option. We will be testing these in a wide variety of environments, so subscribe to the channel to see how they perform. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think these are all they're cracked up to be? I think they are pretty freaking awesome, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. I know it was a little bit of a long-winded video, but I wanted to give you the full perspective. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.